Good afternoon, Abbotsford residents. I'm Mr. Pelican. Today I want to bring you a story that'll shock everybody, especially the conservatives. I stood on this piece of property when I was being blocked by Henry Braun, the mayor, to load Ross Siemens. On the day that I took mayorship, I would bring $100 million in food innovation, bringing more money year after year for Abbotsford taxpayers to lower your taxes. Let me tell you about a backroom deal. The province is broke. We know David Eby's broke, so I want to run you down and I want you here. A few nights ago, there was an incident at Abbotsford Hospital with a man having a heart attack. Abbotsford kept playing him off till he went to Royal Columbia and he was rushed in and given stents in his heart. This is because of the provincial government not funding these doctors. So let me tell you what happened. When Henry had control of Pamela Alexis, he was lobbying jobs that he could have his hands in. Ross Siemens takes a picture the other day, and I want you to read underneath it. It says, "Standing strong for BC." It's $500 million in a scam to bring in an innovation by, rather than say we're going to bring it for the farmers, to bring innovation in for testing for these influenzas, for these chickens and everything else. It's $500 million. Cost overruns and everything else will probably turn it into over 800. So now we got to look at what took place. So let me give you a rundown on this $500 million. First of all, the province is broke, and it's BC residents that have to forfeit the bill. When the Augustine billionaire wanted to develop an Augustine, he would have built this for free, and the province wouldn't have to go on the hook. It would have been a free and built by the Augustine billionaire, and not even Abbotsford taxpayers. But we're going to steal $500 million out of the BC government for backroom deals. David Eby didn't stand here and alert this. David Eby made himself scarce and he sent his MLA out to do it. And it was a shush deal when our hospitals are being in trouble and everything else. Henry Brown caused the flood in Abbotsford that put that testing facility in trouble. Henry Brown was the man that blocked Augustine billionaire. Ross Siemens went around and figured that if the province announced $500 million, nobody would be able to stop what's coming. Abbotsford residents know that I'm running for your commander-in-chief, but I'm also telling the whole of BC, this is your money that the taxpayers going to fit. Wasn't it John Horgan that did some library or something and he had to step out of with his scandal? This is $500 million that could have been break for free. And I want you to look at this piece of property. Did this property need that? If you're going to build this, the opposition, which is the Conservatives and one BC now, should say, no, Mr. Eby, we need to build it at the ostrich farms because that's where the testing needs to be done. This is a scam and it needs to be stopped. This was by the establishment. This is where my BC Conservatives need to stand. This is where one BC stands. And this is where Suk Mangel should be standing. And this is where Brad Vish should not stand. And he should run in mission and say, Henry got caught again on this. This is a complete scam, but it's also taking from the BC taxpayers and forfeiting this bill, which they would never have to. Remember when Pamela Alexis was trying to get the $200 million to build by the Abbotsford Hospital and that scam to build senior care homes and all this stuff? It didn't. $500 million. $500 million in cost overruns, was not telling you who they bought the land from, which friend got it, which developer is going to develop it. Is Unitech that ran the Abbotsford Police way over the budget? Who was developing this scam? And this is why they didn't have a press conference. This is why none of the MLAs stand here. And you don't dump this kind of money in as the N.D.P. when this is a BC Conservative riding and you can't get this. This is the Conservative riding. If you're looking to buy votes, you would probably be dumping that money back into mission so Pam can run again and you take that $500 million. And David Eby should have been the man with this much giving out money, should have been here and allowing this and calling the press concert. He wasn't. Henry worked these deals for years and years and he blocked people. That's when I knew to stand here and say this piece of land, Henry was, no, we can't have that. We got the perfect thing. Henry Brown caused the flood. Henry Brown blocked the Augustine billionaire and the province is broke. BC taxpayers got to go on the hook for it, and I won't accept that. As an Abbotsford resident and running for your commander-in-chief, I will not allow these games to take place in Abbotsford. Henry Brown got in his car, left the city of Abbotsford in his Lexus car and tried to end my life. Used his influence and his friends, and I knew right now it was all about money. Thanks to Darren Brown, I could show you it all. So I want to tell Ross Siemens, right to your face and to everybody that knows, this is a scam and it needs to be stopped. Rubbing your hands in the city and going, did you see? The ag minister approved that. Nobody's going to stop it. The province is broke. But what should have took place is that garbage hospital that Mike DeYoung was in charge of should have adequate, and it should have the money, and it should be looking after. And if you're going to argue the fact that a little chicken is more important than a human being, we got the wrong leader in the province running the provincial government. We need now to say, you're putting life and animals first before our residents and people that have heart attacks. And this is what we need to change. We see Bruce Banman in front of the hospital advocating for the hospitals in the shortage, and $500 million on this garbage. The BC Conservatives need to get strong. Corky Neufeld needs to stop hanging with Ross Siemens, and he needs to call this garbage out. This was a backroom deal. I told you, Henry was after that flood industry, and $500 million, and nobody helped our farmers. $500 million, and Archway raised money to keep it. $500 million, and none of it went to infrastructure or go to the local farmers and say, you were wiped out, we're giving you each $100 million. We're going to get a scam, and if we get a scam brought in by the provincial or federal government, we'll be able to move that, shelter, and that. Ain't there a housing shortage? Don't you think we should pull this out of the ALR and zone it all for the housing shortage? There's many places to build that facility, and we could lift it up on stilts and raise it, because we know Henry brought 6 feet of water in. Henry Brown caused this all, but I'm going to make it clear to the province. That facility would have been built for free, and by the Augustine billionaire that Henry blocked in Augustine. And what he was doing? He was trying to get Polygon up there, and Polygon to do it all. And Henry Brown went and led this. So I want to tell Abbotsford residents, I want to tell the BC Conservatives, and I want to tell David Eby, if Henry Brown wouldn't have got in his car and did what he did and tried to use his political friends to cover up attempted murder and put his son in front of him, this wouldn't be pulling you down. So what does Mr. Pelican and Abbotsford residents want? We want Henry Brown picked up and put in cuffs. And that's when this is all going to stop flagging everybody and everybody coming to give me information and help me. This was a scam, and the province is broke, and it's going to give $500 million. BC Conservatives need to get strong and say, BC taxpayers are going on the hooks, and they need to start fighting these issues, and they need to know that this is a backroom scam, and then look at the former leader that ran the N.D.P, John Horgan. Wasn't he doing something with a library? And you need to call it out. I'm live, Abbotsford, British Columbia.